Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to Volodymyr, I don't know how you say it, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, I think, explained in 8 minutes by Vox. I mean, I'm guessing this is sort of like how he sort of became the president, sort of his journey, I guess. Because I found out when this whole sort of Russia-Ukraine thing began, when it sort of started, I found out that he was a comedian before he was president. But I don't know much more details other than that, or many more details other than that. So I mean, I'm going to learn about where he came from, how he sort of became the president, because it's kind of a strange transition. You don't really expect comedians to become presidents, let alone join any sort of political sort of party, because I mean, comedians usually rip into like politics and stuff. So we're going to see. Also, I wonder what sort of comedian he was. Maybe he was sort of a comedian in a completely different sort of thing to politics, which is why he went into it. I don't know what I'm saying, but we're going to get into this. Hopefully going to enjoy, and let's check this out. That's in there, isn't it?
Zelenskyy was in Ukraine easily the best recognizable comedian and the most successful one, and the project that was like his flagship thing was a regular comedy show. It was not what you would call highbrow humor.
There was quite a lot of kind of a primitive humor, I would say, and quite a lot of sophisticated making fun of politics.
He was really funny and clever takedowns of Ukrainian politicians, Russian politicians, you know, because it was in many ways a shared cultural and political space.
Понятно, а выбирать-то не из кого. Из двух пи***расов выбираем меньше. И так 25 лет подряд. Ты знаешь, что интересно? В этот раз ничего не поменяется. Знаешь почему? Потому что ты, мой батя, я, мы снова выберем пи***аса. Да потому что да.
Servant of the People is a good show. It's really funny. It's about a history teacher who's sort of thrust into the presidency because of a video of him that goes viral.
This is your ultimate, like a regular person.
Bro, he like spoke it into reality then. What? Wait, what?
Suddenly gets all the power in the country, and his heart is in the right place, but everything is against him. There's corruption everywhere, and he just wants to change the country.
He almost like showed on the screen what kind of president he would be, and I think that was his basically campaign manifesto.
That is insane. So his sort of comedy show into him sort of accidentally becoming the president was actually worked. The public sort of saw it and was like, you know what, this is the person I want to vote for. That would be sick if that would happen in British politics. Again, I don't vote, I don't really care. I don't give a damn, to be honest. But if there was like a show, I mean, I don't know if it would actually work or not. I mean, the Ukrainian public seemed to like him, right? Although I feel like he wasn't very popular until this whole invasion happened, and he stood up and he showed he's a true leader, I guess. But what was I saying? Yeah, if this was in British politics and there was like a comedian who done a show, and then people actually were like, you know what? F what these other politicians are doing. Don't care about us. Let's vote for this guy, even though it's just a show. That's so weird, man. That's wild when you think about it. Imagine Dave Chappelle just doing a show about accidentally becoming the president, and then he actually gets voted for presidency. That would be pretty insane. That's a fair comparison, right?
Мне кажется, старые политики живут простым очень принципом. Ни у кого ничего не спросили, многое пообещали, ничего не сделали. Я поступлю по-другому.
He's basically asking to people to submit their 5 main problems that they see in Ukraine. You could call it like crowdsourced political program.
His whole campaign was a number of videos like that, where instead of doing a professional video, which he easily could have done, he was doing this little selfie clips. It worked really well for his image of non-traditional anti-establishment guy.
He was keeping his program pretty vague and empty, and it worked.
73%?
Дякую усім українцям, де би зараз не знаходились.
73% is insane. It's usually like 60-40, 45-55 kind of. It's always really close. I mean, like from what I see anyway. In British and American politics, whenever I see it, I feel like the votes are always really close. That's a massive difference. And I mean, I guess I can understand, because I feel like maybe the previous president was... Well, obviously, was doing things that the people weren't wanting to do. Like, yeah. So that's obvious. But 73% is an insane margin.
Я обіцяю, що ніколи не підведу вас всіх. Усім країнам пострадянського Союзу. Подивіться на нас. Усе можливо.
His victory speech, he said, I am the hope for change, not just for people in Ukraine, but for all people, hinting obviously on Russia. I still think that Putin holds big grudge on this.
Nobody knows what Putin thought. Probably in all likelihood, the leadership of Russia was thinking that he's inexperienced, he's new, this is our chance.
Oh, so they sort of saw it as like, okay, this guy's not really into this world, so we can use this as a sort of not motivation, but we could use this to try and actually like take our opportunity now. Because obviously Putin's been trying to do it for ages when he like the invasion of Crimea, and then I guess since then there's always been the idea that they're going to try and take more, and I guess they saw it as the opportunity now.
It's my hypothesis.
Makes sense.
That he was looking at Zelensky as a very easy partner who can be played.
It's eerie to watch it now, to be honest.
Oh wow.
I think that there's a high chance of ending the war.
When?
When?
What an answer.
As soon as possible.
Doesn't know what to say.
I want to believe that it'll be this year.
The presidency was defined by a pretty consistent and precipitous decline in popularity. We're talking about ratings of 30s, even down to like 20s.
It was connected to several issues. There was no progress in peace.
There were implications of his company listed in the Pandora Papers. He was trying to accumulate more power in the office of the president, which Ukrainians despise.
He started cracking down on opposition. He was changing tremendously, and he was becoming
what he was fighting against. Oh no! Oh man! Politicians, man, politicians, or like when you become president, it changes the game, man. You come in with this idea of like, oh, I'm gonna be for the people, and it slowly just changes and changes. Power is a crazy thing, man. It can change people massively. And I guess that's what was sort of happening in this case.
People saw him slipping towards the usual way of doing business in Ukraine.
A lot of Ukrainians were not seeing it as a successful presidency.
З президентом Литви, з іншими лідерами. Відчуття із засобів масової інформації саме таке, що у нас війна, у нас ходять війська по дорогах, у нас мобілізація, люди кудись їдуть. Це не так. Нам не потрібна ця паніка.
What is happening in that clip is that he is holding a press conference for foreign media. Zelensky was trying to downplay the threat, but also putting out some confusing messages.
These expectations of the war, they forced many investors to leave Ukraine. And of course, for President Zelensky, it was unacceptable.
In the weeks that led up to the crisis, from the communication point of view, I don't think that he did a very good job.
Всім добрий вечір. Лідер фракції тут, голова Офісу президента тут, прем'єр-міністр Шмигаль тут, Подоляк тут, президент тут. Всі ми тут.
At the outbreak of war, there was fear and there was a suspicion that he may, capitulate, he will concede, he'll get scared. That clip was perceived that the captain is not abandoning the ship. From that moment, people understood he is not surrendering, and there are millions of Ukrainians who are ready to put up that fight.
Obviously, it's not a good thing at all, but I guess maybe for him, in some aspects, it was, I don't want to say good time. I don't want to say anything positive from it, because obviously he would have preferred, obviously this wouldn't have happened. But again, he's being viewed so differently now. I don't know if it's just in the world or if he's actually being viewed differently in Ukraine as well by the Ukrainian people. And they're loving the fact that he's actually sticking by and like standing there willing to fight and not like cowering away or whatever. But yeah, he's actually willing to sort of fight back, and he's not abandoning ship. Again, that's only gonna be seen as a positive by the people who live in that country. So in a way, it's working out for him. But again, I'm not trying to make a positive out of such a negative. I'm just sort of trying to see, like, I don't know how it's just sort of changed and how the opinions possibly change. And when hopefully this is over, whenever it is, hopefully sooner rather than later, I wonder if they're still going to be like with him, and they're like his popularity ratings are going to be so much higher now.
Yes, it definitely was a turning point. If you watch a clip of Zelensky talking, for example, to the Western press in January, and this clip of Zelensky standing in the street of Kiev, you can think that these are two different people. But if you compare this clip with Zelensky of 2019 when he was campaigning for president, that's the same person.
Yeah, like full circle.
In terms of style, in terms of how sincere and open he is. It's like we made full circle. We came back to the 2019 Zelensky, which is the guy people voted for.
So yeah, I guess that has sort of
Україна буде самотня.
been a positive for him.
Ми довели свою силу. Доведіть, що ви нас не відпускаєте.
His speech to the European Parliament, it was really striking as it was translated for the members of the European Parliament. You hear the translator fighting back tears as he's translating Zelensky's words. I've never heard that happen.
We are fighting just for our land and for our freedom. Despite the fact that all large cities of our country are now blocked.
The moment was so emotional and raw. I think it really helped to change a lot of minds in Europe.
They have to understand that for Ukraine, it's the battle for existence. His message is also, if we stop Putin at the Ukrainian border, everybody will be safer.
His appeals to Europe have been very much impactful in really making it morally and politically impossible for them to stay on the sidelines and not support Ukraine.
Today, his background as somebody who's working with the audience his whole life is coming handy. He definitely knows how to command the audience, how to grasp their attention, how to put on a show, so to say.
He probably wasn't the best president in peace times, but he was very good in the beginning of the war, creating the hope, uniting the nation, and giving an impetus for resistance.
He is not the president anymore. He's the leader of the nation. I know because I asked people in Ukraine. They find it convincing.
Staying in the capital in Kiev, that's really inspiring for a lot of people in the country to see. I think
it's funny how Putin sort of saw this as an opportunity. They saw like the weak leadership and all this sort of stuff, and the popularity levels and all this kind of stuff, and they thought this is the time to strike. People are against him, all this kind of stuff, and it's went the complete opposite way. Putin must be fuming, man. He must have not saw any of this coming at all. You love to see it, man.
Forgotten that there are thousands of regular Ukrainians who are demonstrating even bigger bravery every day. Unarmed civilians trying to stop tanks with their bare hands. This spirit of regular Ukrainians is what's inspiring Zelensky too. He's proven worthy of the nation that he's leading.
There we go. Very good video. I learnt a lot, to be fair. Absolutely appreciate the fact you went for a fuller picture. You've not just stopped at meme level of adoring the Zelensky while he's at his best right now, and I hope he continues to be. It's worth sharing context. Thank you for that. Yeah, my girlfriend has a bit of a crush for him, I'm not going to lie. She needs to tone it down a little bit, alright? Just relax. I don't know, but yeah, I can see he's a real man. Appreciate the nuanced video that doesn't just hold him up as the perfect president, but highlights his shortcomings and low points as well. Thank you, Vox Video Team. Yeah, it's important, I guess. Like, everyone has their ups and downs. And it is just wild to see how it's just completely flipped. How the whole opinion of him is just completely changed. And I can understand that. Because, like, what he's doing now, there are not many leaders who would do what he's doing and show sort of the courage and the leadership that he's doing. So it's pretty wild to see. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. If you want more videos related to this subject, let me know in the comments. And I mean, yeah, until next time, like, subscribe.